Hi everyone, my name is Mercedes and I work with First 5 Permian Basin here at UTPB in Odessa. Here at First 5, we have 3 different evidence-based home visiting programs that are designed to support parents of children ages 0 to 5. Today, we're going to talk about some information from these evidence-based programs and walk through some milestones you might see in each area of development. There are 4 areas of development we'll discuss, which are language, cognitive, motor, and social-emotional. So let's start with language. At about 1 year old, you might notice your child understanding some words or phrases, starting to say some words, gesturing, pointing, or communicating to you what they want or need. As your child continues growing between 1 and 2, you'll see a lot of these skills continue to grow. To help build these skills, you might start by teaching your baby words for things they point to. You might praise them whenever they're able to say words correctly. And you can also start giving your child simple directions like hold the cup and get excited with them whenever they're able to do so. Between 2 and 3 years old, you'll want to look for your child to be able to use 3 to 4 word sentences, pretend to read or repeat simple stories and finger plays, and repeat words that you might say to them. As a parent, you can model conversation with them as well, which means taking turns, listening before asking them a question back, and responding to them conversationally. The next area of development is cognitive. At around 1 year old, you'll notice your child starting to be extremely curious and wanting to touch everything. They might get frustrated with toys or movements that are hard for them to master right away. What you can do to help at this age is just let them explore, understand how things move together, and they may not understand that certain areas or toys are off limits, so this is a good time to start working on boundaries with your child. Between 1 and 2 years old, your children will start figuring out how to do things on their own, and you'll notice a lot more independence coming out when they're eating, drinking, and playing. What you can do is give your child a lot of time to figure things out for themselves. They're going to be using a lot of trial and error, and if you're there to help support, even when their attempts aren't always successful, they'll feel more encouraged to try again. Between 2 and 3 years old, you'll notice your child focusing on activities for a longer period of time, trying to solve problems by himself, remembering events and places, and matching and sorting objects. So what you can do to build these skills is allow them time to get bored of an activity before moving on to something new, giving them puzzles to work on together, talking about the day's events, and also giving them opportunities to match things based on size, shape, and color. Next is motor development. At about 1 year old, your child may start crawling, pulling himself up, and trying to walk in some way. They may also learn new skills and then go back and forth between using them and not using them. What you can do is encourage these attempts and think more about safety as your child becomes more mobile. You may also notice that they take a few steps one day and then don't the next day, and remember that this is normal. Between 1 and 2 years old, you might notice your child running, climbing, throwing, or kicking. You'll also notice her using her hands and fingers for more tasks. So as you're outside, again, watch for safety hazards and give your child more opportunities to use different fine motor skills like the pincer grasp or using all 5 fingers in some way. By the time your child is 3, you'll want to see them catching, jumping, and working on overall balance. They may also be able to draw, cut with scissors, and lace beads. You can continue helping improve coordination by giving them many opportunities to practice and also having different art supplies around to explore. The last area of development is social emotional. At about 1 year old, your child may start to feel proud and start showing emotions like happiness or anger. You'll also notice them wanting to be near you, and that's a good thing. Between 1 and 2 years old, you'll notice your child saying no a lot or getting mad and having temper tantrums. Right now, they're discovering a lot of independence, and that comes with its own challenges. This is a good time to start enforcing rules gently and consistently, as this helps your child understand what to expect. You may also want to start helping your child communicate what he or she wants, distracting them from the problem, or redirecting behavior. One of the most important things you can do as a parent is also modeling self-control by staying calm yourself in any of these tense situations. By 3 years old, your children will want to be more independent, start taking care of some of their own needs, want to do things their own way, and use the word mine a lot. What you can do to help is allow plenty of time for things like brushing teeth or washing and drying hands. You might help distract them when they're upset so they can work out their feelings. And you might help them learn how to take turns when playing. And remember that sharing is a hard thing for children to understand at this age, so taking turns might be easier for them to grasp. We hope this information helps you in your journey as a parent. Remember, it's just as important to take care of yourself as it is to take care of your children. If you have any further questions about what we discussed today, or if you'd like to learn more about what First 5 can do for your family, please feel free to call us at 432-552-4025. Thank you.
And welcome to our art experience for the Family Place Parent-Child Workshop. For today's activity, we will be making Play-Doh. And so there's a couple different ways that we can make Play-Doh. For this video, I am doing a not cooked Play-Doh. So what I would need is flour, salt, water, and I'm going to do some food coloring to, add some color to my Play-Doh. Now, there's other Play-Doh recipes that are out there that are easily, that you can easily do as well. And one of those requires all these ingredients, but also having vegetable oil. We're not going to use the vegetable oil today, but that's just one option that you can do. So the purpose of this activity today is so that children can have that tactile experience with molding and kneading and feeling all the different ingredients with making Play-Doh. So we're really working on building the children's fine motor skills with this activity. Now, in the workshop, I like to have each kid has a bag that they can take home. But if you're doing this at home, you're more than use a bowl and a spoon, especially for those kids who maybe don't want to get their fingers all sticky and nasty. But what we would do is we would measure out. So I have 1 1/4 cups of flour in this bag. And so we would work with the kids, we have them measure it out, they can go ahead and feel what that flour feels like, okay? Then I would add 1/4 cup of salt, which I already have ready in this bag. And again, let those kids feel that salt, let them have that tactile experience. And if they don't like it, that's fine. That's when you would have a spoon, something that they can still do the activity, but they get to stir it, so they don't get to be as dirty, okay? So we're mixing those two together first. And then what I'm gonna do is I have my cup of water here, I have a cup of water, and I'm gonna add some food coloring to it. It works out better if you add the food coloring to the water first. Kind of mix that around. And you get a more even color Play-Doh. Okay, so I always ask the kids, what color do you want? I went with a little teal today. Stir it around, and then you would pour this in your Ziploc bag or your bowl. So pour it in. Now, for those kids who want to dive on in, they can dive right on in. Use their hands, mix it around, get that tactile experience. So with this activity, we are in STEM, you're using math and science. And let them look at the color, halfway stirring it through, have them talk about what it looks like. Did it turn into Play-Doh right away? What's going on here? So I like the bag, because again, you don't have to get dirty. And they can, again, use a bowl and use a spoon. Then we'll get in here and we'll start really kneading it together, getting that Play-Doh going here. And sometimes you might have to add just a little bit more water. If it's too sticky, go ahead and use that extra flour to get on your hands so it's not sticking to your hands. So I'm just going to start kneading this in my hands, mixing together. And with this non-cooked Play-Doh, or the one that I'm not using vegetable oil with, you can keep in a covered container or a sealed bag. It just needs to be refrigerated afterwards. So Again, I'm just, let those kids knead it, start to make it. It looks like mine here is a little dry, so I would need just a little bit more water. And again, really simple, easy activity. We can go even further and have cookie cutters so they can make shapes with it. Cut out shapes. We can have a roller. Again, this is just letting those kids have that tactile experience with kneading, molding, rolling, pulling, working with those fine motor skills. And again, like all family place parent-child workshops, this is an area that if it doesn't interest the kids, that's fine. They don't have to come to this area. We would have plenty other activities that they might be interested in instead. But that's why I like to do the bag. Just send it home with the parents and they get to do it themselves. So, and a little less messy. So that's the activity for today, is making Play-Doh. All of these ingredients, very, very simple to make. Again, put it in a sealed container and put it in your fridge once you're done. And that is all I have for you today. I will see you next week. Thanks.